Welcome everyone to our new laws and legislation web conference. We will be meeting for 1 hour. I am Rocio Molina, Senior Legal Advisor with Valor. And I'm joined by my co-host, Claudia Cibaja.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'll be doing some tech work. If you have any problems or any questions, please feel free to send me a chat. Claudia Cibaja, and I'm one of the project managers at Valor. Thank you for joining us this morning. We will be covering on our agenda this morning a little bit of the tech overview. We will have an icebreaker. Also, we will be discussing Valor's policy framework and the 2023 legislation. And we will also cover some of the 2024 policy priorities that Valor and our collaborators have been working on. I know that most of, or maybe all of you are already very familiarized with how to use our Zoom, but we do have English closed captions available. And you just by selecting the show captions on your toolbox on the bottom, you can have captioning available. We also have, and we have Aberdeen joining us today. Thank you so much for being here today. You could also use the the hand feature or chat function to ask questions. We do definitely ask everyone to ask any questions that you may have, and we'll be happy to have. If we don't have the answer, we'll definitely get back in the future with the answer. We will have this recording. It will be available for future, and if any of your colleagues would like to watch it, we will have it available for everybody. You could also message me on the chat, ccbaja@valor.us or Rocio, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that the facilitators this morning may not have a chance to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia. And let's get started. So, big question, why are you passionate about policy advocacy? If everybody could just answer that on the chat. And we can share some of those responses that you put out there. But why are you passionate about policy advocacy? I'll give a minute for you guys to write what you're thinking.
Or if we have some brave folks who want to unmute, we would also encourage that. We would love to hear from folks participate throughout the entirety of this call today.
Hi, my name is Kendi from Centro La Familia in Fresno, California. And I to say that the passion comes from why not? Our community's constantly changing, so many of our policies have to change with our community's needs. So what was working, maybe working, obviously, many years ago, it's still not going to work nowadays. So it's important to tailor it as our community's needs change, and as so encounter new challenges and new stories. So from those that we're working with, because at the end of the day, they are the true messengers of our community needs, and with them we're able to get to this level. So that's why I feel very passionate about it. And I mean, there's lots more, but this is just part of it.
Yeah, thank you, Kendi. Somebody else shares to make a positive difference in our youth by allowing them to empower themselves to be able to advocate for themselves in their community. others share. I see a lot of people saying for social change, for empowering, making long-lasting impacts to the systems. Another participant shares the system is broken for survivors and has been for a long time. Policy advocacy is one of the few ways we can try to break the cycle. And also a way to set priorities for funding and how we as a society address key issues in addressing sexual violence. So a lot of change and making positive change. Hand it over to you, Grace.
Thank you, Rocio. Thank you, Claudia, for getting us started. And thank you, Sandy. I want to give some appreciation to the Valor staff who's on this call and supporting. And thank you, everyone, for joining today and being alert and participating in the chat. I'm looking forward to this being a robust conversation today. So before we dive into the bulk of our content, I'm thrilled to be presenting this in partnership with some fantastic colleagues who I get to work with in the policy space. So we'll start with you getting to know us, and then throughout, as questions pop up, we'll do our best to answer them in the chat or live. We will also make this recording available. The slides will be available, and we'll send that out to all participants after this web conference today. So good morning, everyone. I'm Grace Glazer. I use she, her pronouns. I'm Valor's Public Affairs and Policy Manager, and I lead out on our state and federal policy agendas, as well as Valor's communication strategies. I am very passionate about policy advocacy, hence the work that I do. I love thinking about systems change and supporting survivors and leading policy work that is centering the needs of survivors. I also really like the storytelling element of policy work. So those are some of the reasons that I love engaging in policy advocacy. And I'm joined here with two fantastic colleagues in the anti-violence space. First, I would like to pass it to my colleague, Alina Chavez, for an introduction.
Hi, thank you so much, Grace. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Alina Chavez. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the program manager for TEACH, which stands for Training in Early Abortion for Comprehensive Healthcare. So we train family medicine physicians and APCs in first and second trimester abortion care. And our curriculum is the most widely used curriculum around the world. And I'm also passionate about policy change, or policy advocacy, because all the reasons Grace and everyone said in the chat. I don't want to take too much time, so I'm going to pass it to Chris. Thank you again.
Thank you, Alina. My name is Chris Negri, he, him pronouns. I'm Associate Director of Public Policy at the California Partnerships and Domestic Violence, which is California's recognized domestic violence coalition, representing over 1,000 advocates, organizations, and allied individuals across the state. I support our work in a variety of areas, including budget advocacy, which we're going to talk about today, but also child welfare, housing, other aspects of domestic violence. And what I'm passionate about in terms of policy advocacy is delivering sometimes small but tangible wins for people, and hopefully improving their lives through policy. I mean, the impact that state and federal action has on people and their lives is significant, and even small changes can have major ripple effects. And so that's what I am passionate about. But it's wonderful to be with you all today, and I'll pass it back to you, Grace, I think.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. So as folks can see, we have a sexual violence organization, a reproductive justice organization, and a domestic violence organization here to present. So if we could advance to the next slide, I want to highlight Valor's policy framework, because Valor had a rebrand in 2021, we used to be CalCASA. And with this rebrand, we have a new tagline, Advancing Equity, Ending Sexual Violence. And we've made it a priority within our policy work to particularly focus on the advancing equity portion of our tagline. So this has allowed us to expand the kinds of policy work that we're engaging in and recognizing that sexual violence does not exist in this silo, and that we must be engaging in policy work that is intersectional and is uplifting survivors' rights, not only just within sexual violence policy, but also within domestic violence, reproductive justice, economic justice. The list kind of goes on. Could we also pop up a few of the bullet points on this slide, please? So similarly with that, we, especially in 2023, we saw the California legislature introduce quite a few bills that focused on enhancing criminalization, creating new crimes. You know, we saw a lot of bills that were focused on 3 strikes. And at Valor, we recognize that sexual violence or criminalization will not end sexual violence. It won't end any type of violence. So with that, Valor has made a very conscious decision not to be supporting any legislation that focuses on enhancing criminalization or penalties. And instead, we're turning to alternatives to criminalization. So this includes investing in restorative justice practices, pushing for violence prevention funding, and other alternatives that are really centering what does it look like for us to be promoting well-being across our communities and supporting the needs of survivors. So with all of that, I ask that those who are on this call today kind of keep this policy framework in mind as we move through some of Valor's 2023 wins and then other bills that are important for us to be thinking about, and happy to have more conversations about some of Valor's policy framework down the road. All right, so this is my favorite part of the web conference. We get to talk about some of the fantastic work that Valor did throughout 2023 and how that impacts advocates, survivors, and community members. So first, I want to start with some of the budget work that we did. So 2023 proved to be a really difficult budget year for California. We were facing a pretty extreme deficit, but we recognized that it was so important to be advocating for survivors. So Valor, in partnership with the Alliance for Boys and Men of Color, the Culturally Responsive Domestic Violence Network, and the California Partnership to End Domestic Violence, shared a joint budget request requesting $44 million in funding to support a comprehensive, holistic approach to ending gender-based violence across California. I know a lot of folks on this call helped advocate for that funding, and what the request looked like when we broke it down into 3 parts was the first part was $20 million in ongoing funding for sexual and domestic violence prevention grants. This current funding supports 46 anti-violence programs across the state. So we made a really strong push because we recognize that incremental funding is not what's going to prevent and end sexual and domestic violence here in California. The second part was focused on $22 million for innovative interventions and culturally rooted approaches to ending gender-based violence. This included funding for pilot programs, culturally specific programs, and hotlines for, excuse me, restorative justice programs. And then the last part of the ask was focused on $2 million to establish a senior advisor on violence prevention, similarly to what we're seeing at the with the White House Gender Policy Council. We would like to see that replicated here in California. Our champion for the request was Assemblymember Reggie Jones Sawyer. And he was a very fierce champion, and we had a lot of advocacy and mobilization. We had over 100 organizations supporting this budget request. And with all of the hard work and odds stacked against us, we did land with $2.3 million to extend the sexual and domestic violence grant program in the final budget. So thank you everyone for all your advocacy on that. And it really was tremendous seeing the influence that we're able to have here in the Capital community. And obviously, like, none of that could have been done without the help of you all, without the partnership, CRDVN and ABMOC. And so with that, I'm joined by my colleague, Chris Negri, here today. And Chris, I would love to pass it to you to provide some reflections and insights on this budget advocacy.
Yeah, I mean, so I want to be upfront in the fact that I joined staff at the partnership in July after most of this work had been done. So I very much want to hear from those of you on the call who were involved in this process from soup to nuts, from the beginning to the end. But my experience of work on this was in July when I joined staff. We were sort of under the assumption that this had been unsuccessful. And it was only in late August when we saw this $2.3 million included in budget trailer bill that it became evident that the advocacy here had been successful. So, I mean, one of the key takeaways there is that the budget process is a long one. And even when you think your advocacy might have been unsuccessful, it's not over until it's over. And obviously the 2.3 million that eventually ended up in the budget is not what we shot for, but it is a significant amount of funding that will enable programs to continue their work. So that is a victory, especially in this current environment and the environment that we were in throughout 2023. So I'm curious from those of you who are involved here to hear, what was it like to advocate for this funding? Anything that you learned, anything that you enjoyed? And then perhaps, what will this funding allow you to do in your organizations? And so I want to open it up for any reflections from any of you all who were involved in this.
I can see that we have some folks who currently receive SD funding, which is the abbreviation of the Grant for the Sexual and Domestic Violence Prevention Program. I know that Peace Over Violence, WEAVE, North Coast Rape Crisis Team, they all are SD recipients. I also, she may or may not be on this call, but Ingrid from the Culturally Responsive Domestic Violence Network was able to briefly jump on and was one of the co-sponsors for our budget ask. So would love to hear from some folks who either advocated for this funding. What was that like for you? What challenges did you experience? What lessons were learned?
Grace, this is Ingrid. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thanks for being here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think this budget ask to me is a great example of just because the message is ultimately not received doesn't mean it's not worth sending. And it feels like this ask lays out where we want to go, how we want to change the current domestic violence, sexual violence system of care to work better for all communities in California. And so I think there's just still so much education that needs to happen among our policymakers, legislative leaders, in addition to the financial challenges of the state. But I hope it's an ongoing effort and one in which we're really kind of leading and trying to build the alternative approaches, the culturally responsive approaches to address violence that we want to see. So I'm really proud of this work, and I hope we're able to keep it going in the years to come, because I think it's an education process as well as an advocacy effort.
Thank you, Ingrid. Couldn't agree more with you. Others, we had a question in the chat that said, who are the 46 programs that will receive this funding? So I think it's important to note that the California legislature has allocated one-time funding over the past about 5 or 6 years. So that funding has supported those 46 anti-violence programs across the state, which range from rape crisis centers in domestic violence programs to other anti-violence organizations who are maybe engaging in more restorative justice, alternative justice, or transformative justice projects. And this current 2.3 million is going to extend that funding timeline. So funding was set to expire in April of 2024 this year. And now we'll support those programs through December of 2024 this year. Great question, James. Thank you. You can find a list of the 46 programs through Cal OES, California Office of Emergency Services website. They have a list of all grant recipients on their website. All right. Thank you to those of you who participated in a lot of our budget advocacy this past year. I know it was a really tough year, but being able to uplift the stories of the prevention work that you all are doing was really incredible. And I know our 4 organizations look forward to continuing to advocate for this and are excited while the 2.3 isn't even nearly close to the entirety of what we were asking for. It definitely is a start, and we're continuing to move in the right direction. All right. And then another big win for Valor this year was working on SB 345, authored by Senator Nancy Skinner, which was also known as the Protecting Medication Abortion and Gender Affirming Care bill. This was a very interesting territory for Valor to get into. When we saw the Supreme Court overturn Roe v. Wade, we recognized how quiet anti-violence organizations had been and the role that we play, whether knowingly or unknowingly, in restoring reproductive rights. And in the states where we have rights, making sure that we're codifying them and continuing to advance access to anyone and everyone. So with that, Valor made a very conscious effort to identify pieces of legislation that we could be working on that uplifted the work of reproductive justice and gender justice organizations here in California. So we joined the large co-sponsor group of SB 345. And what this bill does now as law is provides healthcare providers the safety and access to be giving that healthcare regardless of where a patient is located. So if a patient is out of state and needs to access care by a healthcare provider here in California, that healthcare provider can do that now under California law. It also allows healthcare providers to prescribe medication during those appointments or to others who are out of state. It also allows people to bring suit in California against anyone who interferes with a healthcare practitioner's right to provide that care. And it also protects individuals who are seeking sanctuary in California from abortion hostile states. And I really want to emphasize this last point because this was one of the primary reasons why Valor came on as a co-sponsor to this bill, was because we recognize that there are survivors who are living in abortion hostile states and who may be coming to California, who may be walking into our Rape Crisis Center doors, asking for support and asking for connections to local healthcare providers. So we just saw a very clear through line in this, and really just saw an overarching call for our 2 movements to continue to work together in partnership and advance important legislation like this. So it was a very interesting process for Valor to be a part of, and we did it in collaboration with so many organizations, as you can see on the screen. And I'm really thrilled to have my colleague Alina Chavez here today, who works for TEACH and was also advocating for this piece of legislation. And Alina, I'd love to turn it to you to talk a little bit about what that process was like for our coalition.
Yeah, thank you. It's difficult because, at least for TEACH, we are more of a provider-focused organization. Like we do identify as a reproductive justice organization. But there are groups on this list like Access and Black Women for Wellness who are truly reproductive justice organizations who have more experience working with survivors and community members who are seeking protections from hostile states as well. So it was an honor to work with such a wide range of organizations doing so so many different types of work, but all somehow connected. And I think that's like the beauty of intersectionality and like how we all live intersectional lives. And I think we all brought different perspectives, but all had the same end goal, which is to protect anyone who is seeking abortion care, whether you are in California or pro-abortion states like California, or in anti-abortion states like Texas, Florida, seeking care no matter what, because as I'm sure everyone in this call can agree that abortion is just healthcare. It's a basic medical procedure that anyone should have the right to, whether it's first trimester abortion, second trimester abortion, third trimester abortion. It's our basic fundamental human right. And so I think all of these orgs came together and did a really amazing job of bringing each perspective and each organization's mission to the forefront to ensure that whether you're a provider, a domestic abuse survivor, sexual violence survivor, just a community member helping a friend get an abortion, you have a friend who lives in Texas who wants to come travel and stay with you, and help that friend get an abortion, that you are protected no matter what. And just great that we live in a state that advocates for that right. And so, yeah, it was great to work with such a diverse group, like Equality, Reproductive Freedom for All, Valor. And so, yeah.
Thank you, Alina. And I do want to uplift, we had about 30 rape crisis center domestic violence programs that supported this piece of legislation. And the senator was thrilled when she saw the wide reach that this bill had, and how here in California, we are drawing that clear connection between advancing reproductive rights and how that ultimately is preventing gender-based violence. So thank you to everyone who advocated for this bill, who wrote signed on to our letters, submitted their own support letters, showed up in committee hearings. Our voices were definitely heard throughout the Capitol community. And if we could go to the next slide, thank you. And then the last bill that Valor strongly advocated for was AB 452, authored by Assemblymember Dawn Addis, also known as the Justice for Survivors of Sexual Assault Act. This bill removes California's civil statute of limitations for child sexual assault and went into effect on January 1st of this year. Valor provided support throughout the entire bill lifespan, and worked very closely with the author's office to ensure it moved through the legislature seamlessly. One thing that I think is important to note about the implementation of this bill is that there's no retroactive clause to this, meaning that this bill is only effective for cases filed on or after January 1st of this year. And then if we could go to the next slide, for those of you who this is maybe not your first Valor's New Laws and Legislation web conference, in previous years, we've gone through a long list of legislation. And while that's really important, I wanted to dedicate this year's web conference to focusing more on what some of our top pieces of legislation were. But we still have resources for all of the legislation that Valor tracked. So we had about 40 pieces of federal and state legislation that we monitored, supported, or did not take a position on throughout this past legislative cycle. And as Rocio just put in the chat, thank you, Rocio, you can find the English and Spanish document to our tracked legislation at the bottom of this webpage. This is also where we will upload the recording for this web conference, as well as our slides for this. So as you start to look through that, and if you have any questions, my contact information is on the PDF, and I would be happy to support with breaking down some of the laws or what any of that means. And I also see that May has a question in the chat about AB 452 and asked, for cases filed prior to January 1st, what is the statute of limitations for child sexual assault? I Do not quote me on this. I believe it's 40 years. I will do a double check after this and I can email you and let you know. And then a few other pieces of legislation that I want to draw folks' attention to that Valor either supported or did not take a position on, but I think is important for this group to know. The first one is AB 933, authored by Assemblymember Aguirre Curry, which is also known as the Protecting Survivors from Weaponized Defamation Lawsuits. Valor supported this bill, and now as law, this includes that the disclosure of sexual violence in a workplace setting is privileged communications, protecting survivors from retaliatory defamation suits. So why, as advocates or survivors, is this important for us to know? It's good to know as someone who works here in California, and it's also good to know as we are supporting survivors, especially survivors who may have experienced workplace violence, that there is now law that protects them. Two other bills that I want to draw our attention to. The first is SB 14, authored by Senator Grove, also known as serious felonies, human trafficking. This bill made human trafficking of a minor a violent felony. Valor did not take a position on this because, for a multitude of reasons, as I mentioned when we were talking about Valor's policy framework, we do not support any legislation that increases penalties, criminalization, or sentencing enhancement. But we also recognize that for a lot of survivors, engaging in the criminal legal system may be what they want and may be a healing process and a healing journey for them. And we also want to be sending a message to the legislature that we want them to be asking survivors what they want and exploring pathways so that way survivors have a multitude of choices after they've experienced violence. And ultimately, we want to be getting out in front of violence. We want to be preventing it and being proactive. So with those strategies in mind, Valor continues to put efforts towards supporting prevention initiatives, restorative justice initiatives, and alternatives to criminalization. And then the other bill that is good for this group to know is SB 464, authored by Senator Wahab, also known as the Sexual Assault Survivor Forensic Bill of Rights. And this will require all law enforcement entities, medical facilities, any facility that would restore or store forensic exams and forensic kits to test those kits and provide a report to the legislature by 2026. So this is a continuation of wanting to get some of those forensic kits off of shelves and get them tested. Valor also did not take a position on this legislation, but important for those of us that are advocates and supporting survivors directly to know about all of that. So those are just some of the bills that are available in the English and Spanish PDFs. So I encourage folks to take a look at them. And then as you have other questions about bills from last year, please feel free to email me. Or as you start to see bills pop up this year, I'm happy to be a sounding board and provide any support as you start to unpack what we see come out of our legislature for this year. All right. So now I'm going to provide a preview of some of the work that Valor will be doing in 2024. We have a pretty packed schedule for this year and excited for folks in this space to engage in some of this work with us. I know a lot of you have probably heard the word VOCA or VOCA budget request over the past few months, but for some context, VOCA, the Victims of Crime Act, is a federal piece of legislation that authorized the creation of the Crime Victims Fund in the 80s. The Crime Victims Fund is the largest funding source for direct service providers across the nation. So this is what keeps the doors open, the lights on, pays staff, provides services to survivors. Almost anything and everything that VOCA touches is directly supporting survivors. The Crime Victims Fund collects money through fines and fees of federal prosecution. And due to shifting prosecution styles and a decrease in prosecution at the federal level, the Crime Victims Fund has been dropping pretty dramatically over the past 5 to 6 years. So with that, the CVF is about to hit a record low, and it's looking at about 40% cuts to funding across the board. So with that, alarm bells were sounded here in California, and Valor, in collaboration with the partnership, formed the California VOCA Advocacy Alliance. And I feel like I'm on a VOCA call almost every day with Chris at this point. And we're doing a lot of work surrounding VOCA. So I would love to pass it to you, Chris, to talk about what some of our ongoing work has looked like.
Yeah, so just to give you a snapshot of these last 3 to 4 months, our work kicked off in August when we became aware of the state of the Crime Victims Fund with a lot of congressional engagement. So thanks to many of you on this call who participated in those meetings. We engaged with most of the key offices on judiciary and appropriations in the California delegation. I think we participated in 17 meetings in fairly short order. And those were really meetings that were led and driven by member agencies of Valor and the partnership and a lot of our partners there. So thank you all for that. In August, thanks again for participating in this. We circulated a survey to collect data on potential impacts. That data has been quite helpful in reinforcing the importance of this funding and illustrating the potential impacts if the state does not take action. As Grace mentioned, we've formed this advocacy alliance with a lot of the key organizations working in victim services. So obviously Valor and the California Partnership, CRDVN, Children's Advocacy Centers of California, CAST, LA LGBT Center, Long Beach LGBT Center, Legal Aid Association of California, many other organizations that have been really working closely to be able to expand our potential impact in reaching out to legislators and engaging media and other things. Media engagement has been a key priority. And I want to thank again the folks on this call, Mayrico and the folks at Haven and others who have done really great work in engaging local and national media to gain attention to this issue. We've had pretty robust engagement of district attorneys and some engagement at the county and city level. So in Los Angeles in particular, the LA County Board of Supervisors and LA City that have passed resolutions supporting state action on this issue. We've done a lot of rounds of meetings with the administration and with key offices, with the speaker, with the outgoing and incoming pro tems, with the budget chairs, Department of Finance, First Partner, many other offices. Thank you again to those of you who will participate in our sign-on letter. That has been also quite helpful in illustrating the broad potential impacts here. We had 190 signatures on that. And we'll be circulating additional ones in the coming months. We've done in-person advocacy in Sacramento in November, and we'll be continuing to do that in the months to come as we work with our budget champion, Eloise Gomez-Reyes, and other key offices to advance the budget ask. And I want to plug, this will not be the only touch point by any means, and we'll be in touch in the coming weeks with more details, but April the 30th and May 1st, we will be in Sacramento. Valor, the partnership, and other folks to advocate on VOCA. And so that will be a great opportunity for us to gather together to talk about this issue and hopefully to affect some ambitious state action here. And I'm curious, since so much of this has been led by you all, and thank you again for that, what this process has been like for you. and whether you have any initial reflections as we sort of not reach the midpoint of our advocacy, but as we have now spent 3 or 4 months on this, and moving into sort of prime time for this work, what that process has been like for you all. And also whether you have any suggestions or thoughts on our work moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's worth noting, providing a little context around the budget timeline here in California. So on January 10th, Governor Newsom released his preliminary budget for the year, and it did not include any funding for VOCA. So we have from now until the May revise, which typically comes out around May 15th, to make a strong push for the inclusion of our 200 million in ongoing funding in that space. And then there's the final June budget, which comes out about a month later. So we still have time to be advocating for this funding, but as Chris said, we would love to hear from those of you who have engaged in some of this VOCA advocacy to date. What has that process been like for you? Or if you haven't engaged in that, what questions do you have about VOCA? Clementine said a lot of our work, especially on social media, has been in educating our community members. Most people aren't aware of what VOCA is or what it funds. Absolutely. I've seen some of your social media posts and really appreciate it. Definitely is, when you're not in it every day, VOCA can certainly go over your head. So it's really important for us to be uplifting what VOCA does and how it impacts our community members. John said in legislative budget meetings from years prior, I remember being told that this is the federal government's responsibility, not the states. And that was when California had a budget surplus. With the budget situation in California pretty bleak this year, what are the prospects for federal action? As bad as always. So I think it's important to note that Valor and the partnership and the rest of the California VOCA Advocacy Alliance is taking a multi-pronged approach to this. We recognize that the state's not going to be able to sustain the large dollar numbers that we need for VOCA every year. So we're continuing to push at the federal level for some type of bridge for this year, and then a longer term fix in following years. So I know a lot of folks on this call did district visits over the summer, and are continuing to engage with members of Congress about the importance of funding VOCA at 1.9 billion. As well as pushing for the backfill here in the state. So as more information comes down from the federal government and national coalitions, we definitely will keep you all in the loop. And right now we are pushing hard here in the state for the 200 million in ongoing funding. James said, with the current state of the California budget shortfall, how realistic is a $200 million request? I want to rephrase that slightly because the 200 million is essential, right? These services support survivors, victims of crime, and it's not limited to the organizations that you see on the screen. It also includes district attorneys associations. It includes gang violence, survivors and victims of drunk driving. VOCA supports almost every type of crime here in the state. So, you know, we really do want to be making a strong push for this and recognizing how essential these services are. And, you know, if one program's looking at shutting their doors, what kind of domino effect does that have on our communities?
And Grace, if I could just add one thing there. In terms of what we are hearing from legislators, I think there is an understanding of that. I mean, we've heard from legislative staffers like phrases like this is critical infrastructure, essential. I mean, there is an understanding that they and their constituents will be significantly impacted if the state does not allocate this funding. And I think there's a willingness to think through resources, through solutions there that is encouraging.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris, for adding that. Others, any questions or thoughts about some of our ongoing VOCA work? All right. Well, we will keep you all in the loop as we send out action alerts and updates around VOCA and continue to provide education and advocacy about the importance of this funding. And, this will be the year of VOCA. So you'll hear that phrase thrown out a lot, and really look forward to folks engaging in this work with us. So in addition to VOCA, Valor has a few other policy priorities for this year. We will continue to advocate for prevention funding. We recognize that prevention takes time and sustained funding. So that's work that Valor will continue to do with the partnership with the Culturally Responsive Domestic Violence Network and with the Alliance for Boys and Men of Color, as well as our 100+ supporting organizations. Additionally, we will be advocating for supporting incarcerated survivors, especially as we've seen some of the narrative pop up in the media around incarcerated survivors, and recognizing that we can be doing more to be advocating for them from grass tops as well as grassroots. And then lastly, we'll be doing education with the legislature around alternatives to criminalization, especially as we've seen this pivot towards increasing criminalization and really wanting to focus on the needs of survivors, especially including VOCA funding. So with that, I want to leave the last 10 minutes of this web conference for questions. You have Alina and Chris and I here to answer questions as best as we can. And if we don't have the answer, we will gladly take time after this to figure that out. But what questions do folks have? All right, quiet group today. So if folks don't have any immediate or burning questions, but maybe think of something down the road, or as you start to see bills introduced, or you're interested in learning more about what Teach or the partnership does, then please feel free to reach out. Actually, we just got a question in the chat. How has the implementation of the SART kit tracking been going? I don't know. Valor has not been supporting with the implementation of this bill. I do know that we've seen multiple bills introduced over the past few years, really to get the testing of forensic exams moving. So that's something I'd be happy to reach out to Senator Wahhab's office about and see who is responsible for implementing it, and how it's going, if they're running into any barriers or challenges. Well, aside from that, thank you all for joining today. I appreciate folks for being here. Thank you, Alina and Chris, for being a part of this. For those who participated in the chat and came off mute, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye all. Thank you.